In this video, I'm going to share why self-ownership is one of the most important things when it comes to manifesting, and what kind of self-ownership I'm talking about, and how by this simple shift in your outlook towards life, towards yourself, you can really take your manifestations to the next level. I'm Rohit. I've been studying law of attraction for years now, and my goal with this channel is to help people expand their awareness and really help them create that dreamed reality, that wonderful life they are looking for. So with a lot of law of attraction or manifestation teachers, this is a very key concept you will see, which is repeated in a lot of books through a lot of text, is this concept of already having what you want, already believing in the end, already living in the end. But one of the very important things to understand is, if I have the power to create my reality just by living in the end, that means that all the circumstances which I don't like, which are not pleasant, are also my doing. So in that sense, if I'm in a bad relationship, or if I'm in a bad job, or if I'm in a bad financial situation, long term, it is my doing. Those are my manifestations. That is what, as people say, as Neville Goddard said, everything is you pushed out. So those circumstances, those events, those people are basically my imagination pushed out, my imagination projected outside the world. So that's why self-ownership and having that sense of courage is very important, because once you know, you don't have to change others, you don't have to change the external world. You can go out and take action and try to force things, but you will realize, since you are the same consciousness, you have the same power as the God or the universe, whatever term you feel apt to use. You have that power, you have it within you to change your external circumstances without doing anything in the external world. Only thing you have to do is change yourself. So there's no one else to change but yourself. No one else to change, and all the main changes needs to happen is in consciousness. That is the main change that needs to happen. So I'm just going to read a couple of lines from 5 Lessons, which is one of my favorite books from Neville Goddard. And he says, okay, there's no one to change but self. All you need to do to make men and women holy in this world is to make yourself holy. All that you need to do, instead of trying to change everyone else, is just change yourself. You are incapable of seeing anything that is unlovely when you establish within your own mind's eye the fact that you are lovely. So whatever the contents of our consciousness, those same contents are reflected in the external world. Those are the same contents which are manifested in our 3D reality. Okay. So that's why he says, it takes courage, boundless courage, because many this night, after having heard this truth, will still be inclined to blame others for their predicament. Okay. Man finds it so difficult to turn to himself. Very important thing to realize. Man finds it so difficult to turn to himself, to his own consciousness, as to the only reality. Right? And this is taken from John 6:44. No man can come to me except the Father which hath sent me draw him. Okay, so what this means is, my concept of myself molds a world in harmony with itself. So whatever concept of myself I have, my external 3D world molds itself in harmony of that concept. Okay, and draws men to tell me constantly by their behavior who I am. So my 3D world, my circumstances, external world, is a reflection of my own consciousness. That's why self-reliance and this sense of courage is very important. being self-dependent in this sense, because since we have the power to create their whole reality, the real reliance is on ourselves, and the real onus is on us to create the reality. And for sometimes some people don't want to do it. They always want to blame some external circumstances, this and that and this and that. For example, now during coronavirus, almost all businesses got hit a little bit, but a lot of businesses bounced back, and they are making more money than they ever had in the past. So what actually changed? What actually changed? The business owners, or whoever they were, the creators of those businesses, they still lived in the end, and their consciousness and the reality pushed out. And it manifested in the 3D world, despite the external circumstances, despite the COVID or other situations. They made a lot more money. They still live in prosperity and abundance. So that's what I want to say. And so that's why, having this self-dependence, this self-reliance, having this courage and belief in yourself is very important. And you need to understand is, since your imagination is God, your imagination is the power to create something, there is nothing to fear. There's nothing to be afraid of. There's no other person to blame. There's no other circumstance to blame. Okay, we just live in our end of our own reality, and the whole 3D reality will change and reflect what we believe in, what we hold in our mind's eye when we live in the end. And living in the end doesn't mean that you imagine for a couple of minutes in morning, and the rest throughout the day you're constantly doubting it. You're constantly doubting it. When you live in the end, it's done, it's done, it's done. For example, if you live in the end, you imagine yourself having an extra $2,000 a month. You don't imagine that I have $2,000 in a month in the morning, and then in the afternoon you're like, how am I going to pay this bill? How am I going to do this? Oh, I need to pay this debt. I need to do this. Oh, I'm so stressed out about the bills. I'm so stressed about this and that. And you're like stressing out. You're like this. No, that means you're still not living in the end. You are not living in the dominant state. Your consciousness is still not what you imagine in the morning. So once you imagine it, and having extra $2,000 in the morning, would you be worried about bills? You just have to live in that state. Even though you might have bills, even though you might have $20,000 in debt, it does not matter what is in the external world. External world will mold itself to the consciousness of your mind, of your reality, of your consciousness, right? That is how the 3D reality will change and reflect to that. And so the only thing need to really consider is the world changes in its relationship to me as I change my position in my consciousness, or in space, or 3D, whatever you call the imagination, right? So the world changes in relationship to me. The world will change its relationship to me when I live in the end. So when you're living in the end, and when you have these things, and you already have it, you don't doubt it when you're going through your day, even though the 3D reality contradicts it. Your external 3D world might deny it, people around you might deny it, circumstances might tell you that it's not true, it's not possible, but you just live in the end, and you will see your manifestation unfold. And the thing is, this is something I've seen, the more conviction I have, the faster the manifestation is. And I'm not saying that every manifestation can be done like that in next day. Every manifestation has its own gestation period, and sometimes it might take 30 minutes, and sometimes it might take 3 months. We don't know. How we know? We don't know. But the stronger the conviction you have, it's like you are in that imagine in, and you're there with conviction, and all throughout the day, despite your 3D circumstances, despite what is in your bank account, in your relationship, on your text message, it doesn't matter what emails you get, what messages you get, doesn't matter. you still live in the end, and all this 3D reality will change and come back to this self and reflect the person who you are. So that is the power, and for that's why we need this self-reliance, self-dependence on ourselves, and we have to just have that courage, just a tiny bit courage, and just live at the end. And when you start living in the end, it doesn't even feel like you need courage, because you just know that you are that person. It's just accepting the responsibility that you are the reason for all these things. You are the creator, the good and the bad. Sometimes people say, when they talk about the good, they are really excited. Yeah, I manifested this, I manifested $100,000, I manifested this deal, I manifested my dream relationship. But when things go wrong, even then, we are the ones who are manifesting it. They are just, everything is yourself pushed out. So that's all I wanted to share in this video. If you found this video useful, please like this video so it can reach many more people. And a lot of people have told me is the way I share information, the way I share my experiences, it has been really helpful to them. And so my goal is to help as many people as I can. And until then, next time, have wonderful manifesting sessions, and I wish you great luck. Cheers.